All right, let's get started. If you're deep into your biology textbook right now, think of this as your personal study guide. We're about to take a whirlwind tour of one of the most incredible, bustling cities you can imagine. And the whole thing is happening on a scale so small you can't even see it. So yeah, let's dive right in.
Okay, I want you to picture this. A whole city, right? It's got a city hall, power plants, factories, even a postal service. Now, shrink that entire city down, smaller and smaller, until it's tinier than the dot on this eye. Well, that's pretty much what a cell is. And trust me, thinking of it as a city is the absolute best way to get how all its different parts work together.
Now, these buildings and departments in our city have a fancy name, organelles. Every single one is a specialized unit with a super specific job to do. And if even one of them clocks out, the whole city can grind to a screeching halt. So, for our tour, we're going to hit all the major stops in Cell City.
Our first stop, well, it has to be the most important building in the entire city. This is the command center, the brain of the whole operation. We are, of course, talking about the nucleus.
So the nucleus is basically City Hall. Now, the interesting thing is it doesn't do any of the physical labor itself. Instead, it holds all the information, the master blueprints to run the entire city. And locked away safely inside is the DNA. Every single instruction for everything the cell will ever need to do is stored right in here.
Okay, so if City Hall just holds the blueprints, where does all the actual building happen? Well, for our next stop, we're heading to the industrial heart of the city, the factories. This is a two-part system. You've got the ribosomes, who are like the individual factory workers, and the endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER, which is the huge assembly line they work on.
And here's how that whole workflow plays out. The master blueprints, the DNA, are way too valuable to ever leave the nucleus. So the nucleus makes copies and sends those out to the factory floor. That's where the workers, the ribosomes, get their hands on the plans. They read the instructions and get to work, building the city's most important products, proteins.
Right, but none of this works without power, you know? Not City Hall, not the factories, nothing. Every city needs a power grid, and for Cell City, all of that energy comes from its amazing power plants, the mighty mitochondria.
And this is a perfect example of a huge idea in biology. Structure dictates function. You ever wonder why mitochondria have all those squiggly folds on the inside? It's not just for looks. That folded-up membrane massively increases the surface area inside. More surface area means more room for the chemical reactions that crank out energy. It's like adding way more turbines to a power dam.
Now think about it. Not every part of the bigger city, your body, needs the same amount of juice. A skin cell, for example, it has a pretty low-key job. It just needs enough power for basic upkeep. But a muscle cell? Oh, that's a whole different story. That thing needs a massive, absolutely huge amount of power for everything from lifting a book to running a race. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. A cell's design is perfectly matched to its job. You can see here, a muscle cell is absolutely jam-packed with mitochondria. We're talking thousands of them because its energy demand is through the roof. The skin cell, it has way fewer. The cell literally builds the infrastructure it needs.
And that's the bottom line, the big takeaway here. The structure of a cell tells you exactly what it does. It's a super simple equation. If a cell does more work, it needs more power plants. So if you see a cell stuffed with mitochondria, you know it's one of the heavy lifters. Okay, so we've made our products in the factories, and we've got the power to do it. But how do we get those products where they're supposed to go? For that, we need to visit our next stop, the city's logistics hub, its main post office, the Golgi apparatus.
You can think of the Golgi as kind of like an Amazon fulfillment center. It's got a four-step job. First, it receives all the new proteins coming in from the factory. Then it sorts through them, makes a few modifications, and gets them organized. After that, it packages them all up, and finally, it labels them and ships them out to exactly where they need to be.
It's a pretty slick system when it's all working. But let's pause and ask a really important question. What happens to our perfectly humming city if this one central shipping department just shuts down?
Well, the answer is complete and utter chaos. You get citywide gridlock. Essential products don't get delivered. Raw materials can't get sorted and sent to the factories. Garbage and waste starts piling up with nowhere to go. And pretty soon, all the other departments, which are now starved for supplies, they start to shut down too. It's a catastrophic chain reaction that proves no organelle works alone. One failure can bring the whole system down.
And that chaotic scene really brings us to the main point of our whole tour today. It is all about teamwork.
As we've seen, this whole thing is an incredibly connected system. The nucleus gives the orders, the ribosomes do the building, the mitochondria supply the energy, and the Golgi handles all the shipping. Every single organelle has its part to play, and they all have to work together in perfect sync.
So, why should you really care about all this microscopic city stuff? Because this complex cooperative system, it's the fundamental unit of all life. If you can understand how this city works, you're on your way to understanding everything else in biology, from how your own body heals to how it moves. It all starts right here. So I'm going to leave you with one final thought to really chew on. We've just explored a single microscopic city. But your body, well, it's not just one city. It's a sprawling nation made of trillions of these cities, all communicating and working together. Just think about that for a second. The staggering complexity that comes together to build you.